Good morning, students. Welcome to the live online classes. We are continuing with chapter 7 Industries for class 7 Geography. Okay. Today I'm going to discuss the factors affecting the location of industries. So I'm talking about factors affecting. Okay. Factors affecting the location, so the position or the place of industries. What it means is factors which are needed for setting up of an industry. Okay, for establishing an industry we need certain factors, okay, for building an industry in a particular area. Broadly speaking, the factors that determine the place or the position or the shaping or the setting up of the industry or building of an industry basically depends on the following factors, like geographical factors. Number one is geographical factors. Now, number one is geographical factors. Whenever we are talking about geographical factors, we are talking about, okay, raw material. Now, the material which is used to produce a product. And this raw material is used by the industries. So, whenever I am talking about the raw material is the resource or the wealth, okay, which is used for manufacturing of a product is known as raw material. Raw material is a geographical factor. Another factor that we come across is, okay, power and energy sources. Okay, now whenever we are talking about energy means fuel. Okay, so the wealth is energy, the energy we get from heat, light, etc. Which are the energies we are talking about? We are talking about oil, petroleum, etc., coal, etc. Are you understanding? And even water. So water also comes in, okay, geographical factors, as well as transportation of metals from one place to another is a geographical factor. Transportation also comes in this factor, as well as climate. Now climate is very, very important for growing of a crop, the raw material which is used by the industries. Number two is non-geographical factors. Now, whenever we are talking about the non-geographical factors, it includes, okay, government policies. So now, government policies to solve the problems of building an industry in a particular area, and government, okay, what we call policies, okay, to help the industries with water, electricity, etc., and even, okay, what we call land. Okay. Then we are talking about, okay, government policies. Okay, I'm writing GOVT, government policy. Okay, policy. Then, okay, capital means monetary aid, okay, which are provided by the government as well as banks, okay, as well as financial institutions. Okay, and efficient organization also basically falls in the category of non-geographical factors. Efficient organizations and management. Okay, these all falls in the category of non-geographical factors. Now we are going to study about geographical factors. So I'm just dropping this one also. So GEOGRAPHICAL, geographical factors. Now, the first geographical factor that we are studying about is climate. Climate. Okay. Now, climate is very, very important, or what we call, okay, the weather is very, very important for placing a position, setting up an industry on a certain area, such as cotton textile industry. So whenever we are talking about climate, okay, climate affects cotton textile industries. This cotton textile industry needs warm climate. In Nepal, it is called nano climate, okay? Comfortable or agreeable, okay, degree of heat, okay? And also it needs humid climate. Warm and humid climate is needed by the cotton industries, okay? Warm and humid. Now, whenever I am talking about humidity, whenever I am talking about humidity, it is the wetness of the air, amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, okay? So, this needs warm and humid climate because the thread means the dhaga, okay, or what we call the yarn or a fine cord, okay, manufactured tends to break away in the dry climate. So why cotton textile industry needs a warm and humid climate? Because in the dry climate what happens is, okay, the yarn of the cotton breaks away, okay, not yarn breaks away. So, if the climate is warm and humid, it does not break away, okay? So, humidity prevents the yarn from breaking away. For example, Mumbai in Maharashtra is the most important cotton textile industry, okay, or center, because its moderate climate is perfect for growing cotton and cotton industries. The second factor that we are studying is raw material. Raw material. The second factor, the resource which is used for the manufacturing of a product. So the raw material which is taken out from inside the earth, which is not in a usable state, okay, has to be, okay, basically manufactured in an industry, and the industry needs raw material. It depends on the raw material. So the resource which is used for the manufacturing of a product is known as raw material. Like agricultural products, okay, like if you are growing cotton in the field, this also becomes, cotton becomes a raw material, okay. Minerals, rock minerals, etc., as well as timber, that is wood, etc., basically falls in the category of raw materials. The shaping or the setting up of an industry is determined by the location, okay, of the raw material. So where the raw material is found, let's take for example, raw material is found here in A. So if you want to set up an industry, you cannot set up an industry here, okay, you cannot set up an industry here, you have to set up an industry close by, so that, okay, it basically reduces the transport cost. The cost of transportation is reduced, as well as, okay, you can okay, transport the raw material from here. So this is the raw material. I'm writing raw, R-A-W, raw material, okay, from to industries in quite some time, okay. So you can easily transport the raw material from here to there, if it might be perishable goods, etc., okay. So industries which need large amount of raw material should be built near the source of the raw material. So the industries which need large amount of raw material should be built, so the industry should be built near the raw material, where the raw material is grown or found, okay, in order to save, okay, heavy transportation cost also. Some raw materials are bulky and heavy. Now, what does the meaning of bulky means? Bulky means large, okay, and, okay, has weight, that is heavy, okay. Some raw materials are bulky as well as heavy, therefore difficult and expensive to transport from one place to another. If you are transporting the raw material from one place to another place, so let's take for example in Kalimpong you have the raw material, but you are transporting this raw material to Delhi, then the transportation cost will be heavy. It will be expensive. But if you have the raw materials in Kalimpong as well as industries in Kalimpong, the transportation cost will be reduced, okay. For example, sugar industry is always located near the sugarcane fields. So let's take for example, now this is a sugar industry, okay. This sugar industry is located near the sugarcane field. Let's take for example, this is a field of sugar field, okay. Now always the sugarcane industry is located near the sugarcane fields. Why? As the cane of the sugar is heavy and bulky, and the juice of the sugarcane dries out, okay, dries out if it is not transported, okay, to the sugar mills within 24 hours of cutting down the sugarcane. So remember that the juice will dry up within 24 hours. So you have to basically, okay, transfer the raw material within 24 hours. Iron and steel industry is located near the iron ore and coal fields, as the raw material is very bulky and heavier also and difficult to transport. So if you are transporting raw materials like iron and steel from one place to another, the industry should be located nearby, because it is a heavy metal, it is bulky also, it is large also. So all major iron and steel plants of India are located near the mineral rich, okay, areas. So this mineral rich area means, okay, where the iron ore is found, or the mining areas like Chota Nagpur Plateau, okay. So all the iron and steel industry is found in Chota Nagpur Plateau. Similarly is the case of those industries that use raw material which are perishable. Perishable means food likely to decay or go bad, okay, in quality, like milk and fish. And there might be goods which are compact, means large, as well as light and easy to carry over distances. They are located near markets. So if you are dealing with perishable goods like milk and fish, okay, your market should be close by. Not the industries, but the market should be close by. To reduce transportation costs as the products gain weight, okay, during the process of manufacture, during the process of making, okay. The third factor that we are studying is power. The third factor we are studying is power, and I will also write fuel, okay, power and fuel, okay. Now power and fuel is the most important requirements of modern industries. These things are needed, okay, or wanted, okay, for the, okay, functioning of the industries. Thermal and hydroelectricity. Now thermal means heat, okay. Whenever I am talking about thermal, it means heat. Heat you get from burning various, okay, minerals. And hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity is generated from water power. So thermal and hydroelectricity are the main sources of electrical powers. Most of the industries try to locate themselves. Most of the industries try to build, okay, themselves near the source of power. Where you find this source, water supply, okay, coal, etc., or petroleum, etc., you build your industries nearby. If you find coal here, C-O-A-L, coal here, then you will build an industry here only, so that it will be easy for you to transport material from one place to another, okay. It reduces the transportation cost, be it coal, oil, or petroleum, or water. Coal as a source of power, okay, coal as a source of power controls, okay, the location, the, okay, place of many industries. Industries are not built far away from the coal fields. Are you understanding? So if your industries are located here, then the transportation cost will be much more. So what does the industry do is they build near the coal mining areas where the coal is found, because coal is the vital source of energy or power, okay. The Damodar Valley in India all, okay, pay or owe the existence to the coal fields in the vicinity. So Damodar Valley is in India is built near the coal field, and because of the coal field, okay, this industry is booming. It's basically, okay, what we call, it's successful, okay. In the absence of coal, if the coal is not found in a particular area, if the coal reserves are finished, then the industry which is working on the coal for generation of, okay, electricity and running of machines, they have to depend on other sources of energy, okay. Uninterrupted supply of power, okay, so in the absence of coal, uninterrupted, okay, so continuous supply of power from oil, that is petroleum, etc., is needed, or hydroelectricity is needed in the absence of coal. For the multifarious activities, for the various activities like running of machines in the industries and for generating power inside the room, okay. The fourth one is water supply. This is the most important. Okay. Now, the fourth geographical factor that we are studying is water supply. Now, water is a necessity, okay? Water is an indispensable or vital element at every stage, from proper functioning of some industries like chemical industries, food processing or food preparing industries, as well as cloth textile industries, or textile means cloth industries, okay? So water is needed for these industries also, and also for clearing or washing of raw materials, and as a coolant for machines. Now, what is a coolant? C-O-O-L-A-N-T, coolant. So actually, a liquid that like water is used to cool the machines by transferring heat from one, okay, part of the machines to the another. Are you understanding? So coolant is what we call coolant is a liquid which basically reduces the heat of the machines, which has been running for 24 hours. So when the machines heats up, okay, there has to be cool down, and this cooling is done by water. Okay. Rivers, lakes and canals play an important role in this regard. So river water is used, lakes is used, as well as canal water is used for the processing of various industries. Now we are moving on to non-geographical factors. I'm writing here non, okay? Non-geographical factors. So the first factor that we are studying is capital. Now capital means money, okay? Large amount of money is required for buying land. So money is needed for buying land, okay, to build a factory, okay, buying raw materials also, buying machines also, hiring laborers also, that is workforce also, transportation of raw materials from one place to another, we need money. As well as when we are making up, okay, raw material into a finished goods, that also needs money. It requires money. And several other activities that are required to perform, okay, to manufacture a product, we need money. Mostly major cities have good banking and credit facilities. So most of the major cities, I'm not talking about the villages, I'm talking about the cities or metropolitan cities, they have banks and credit facilities. So especially banks are found in the cities. Okay, and basically they can borrow money from the banks. Okay, so the people who basically own the industry, or the entrepreneur who own the industry, basically can borrow money from the banks or financial institutions, or public or private financial institutions, which basically, okay, lends the money, as well as financiers, okay, money man. They can also borrow money from, okay, financiers or money man. Okay, therefore most major cities have industries. So why only cities have industries? Because there are banks, there are credit facilities, there are financial institutions or financiers basically staying in most important cities, not in villages. Therefore you find most of the industries are located in the cities. Okay, the second factor that we are studying is government policies. So we are talking about government policies. P-O-L-I-C-I-E-S, policies, okay? The second factor that we are studying about non-geographical factor is government policies. The government plays an important role or a vital role in designing or planning, and also, okay, setting up an industry. Like, okay, not only setting up an industry, also relocating or shifting the industry from one place to another, besides solving problems of public. Now public do not want industries in that town because it causes pollution, water pollution, air pollution, etc. So people do not want industries in that locality. So these problems are solved by the government, okay? And other disparities, okay? Other disparities means other inequalities, okay? That are faced when you are building an industries, okay? Government looks after the building and setting up an industries, okay? Government also sets up industrial zones. So, okay, government also gives an area, a large area is given for industrial reasons, okay? Where lots of industries are basically built there. And in these areas, government supplies land, water, as well as electricity is given by the government. It might be local self-government, it might be, okay, urban local self-government, okay. It offers easy loans. Easy loans means it lends money or temporary money to the owner of the industries. And also government gives grant. Grant means subsidies. Subsidies means gift. Money. Basically given to the industries for planning, designing and maintaining an industry. And there is also tax exemption. Exemption means no tax is levied. So tax is not levied on the needy industries or company. The third factor we are studying is labor. Now labor is very, very important. Whenever we are talking about labor, L-A-B-O-U-R, labor. Now look at the labor. Labor means a workforce, people who are working in an industry. Is a very important requirement for any other industries. Industries that require large amount of cheap labor are usually located in densely populated areas or urban areas. So if you require cheap labor, you find where? Cheap labor, lots of jobless people are living where? In the cities. In villages, people basically usually have an occupation like farming, etc. But in the cities, there are lots of people who are jobless, and these people basically are cheap laborers. And you find cheap laborers in densely populated areas, that is in the cities, that is in the urban areas. Mostly small-scale industries are located in densely populated areas where abundant supply of labor is available. So mostly small-scale industries are located in densely populated urban areas because there are lots of laborers found in that area. Then, if it requires small amount of labor, another point is if an industry needs small amount of labor or small number of laborers, they can also be located far away from the city. But if it requires large number of laborers, as in the case of large-scale industries like iron and steel, the whole township, now again I am coming to the same point, township. Township means industrial area where lots of industries are located, where the labor is also staying in that particular area only, in order to provide necessary labor supply. The fourth one is market. Now we are moving on to the market. The fourth one is market. So the survey of market. So the first thing is you have to have a general view of the market. You have to examine or inspect the market, and the demand or the wants of the people living in that particular area is necessary for setting up an industry. If you set up an industry, the demand of the people should be met. The entire process of manufacturing is useless until the finished goods reach its market. So until and unless the finished goods or the finished product do not reach the market, it is useless. For example, woolen garments have a better market or demand or want in the north. In the northern hemisphere, we need woolen clothes, which experience extreme cold climates or weather conditions. While in the south, which practically has no winter season, the demand for woolen clothes are nearly negligible or nil. Secondly, the second point that you have to understand in the market is, first one is demand, the second one is nearness to the market. So the first one is demand of the people we have to see, and we have to supply it. So who is supplying it? The industry. The second one is nearness to the market. So the market should be near. So if you are building an industry, it has to be near to the market, which saves transportation costs. Moreover, a ready market. Ready market means, fully prepared market is vital or important for perishable goods. If you are transferring, or transporting perishable goods from one place to another, like fish, milk, etc., which can decay or become bad in quality, so market should be nearby. The last factor that we are studying in non-geographical factor is known as transport. All industries which are built need a good network of roads. need a good connection of roadways or railways, waterways and airways for the smooth or continuous and good movement of goods. Good transportation guarantees proper supply of raw material to factories. So the raw material has to be supplied to the factory. The factory basically makes this raw material into a finished products, and from the finished products it is basically transported to the market. From the market it is basically bought or bought by the customer. So good transportation network is needed for these processes. The development of railways in India connecting the ports. So the development of railways in India connects the ports. Ports is basically what we call a dockyard, a shelter for the ships. So a network of roads, or railways basically connects to the ports and to the hinterland. I'm using a new word, hinterland. Hinterland means basically underdeveloped or what we call remote area. So ports are basically connected to the remote area, which determines the location of many heavy industries that you find in Kolkata, Mumbai as well as in Chennai. Many industries are located near river, near canals and sea coast. The main aim is to save the cost of transportation. So the main aim, the main funda is to save the cost of transportation. With this, I have finished geographical and non-geographical factor. Hope you find this lesson useful. Thank you for listening.